We want to give a big shout out to Delmar Motors for giving us the 2024 Atlas right here in London, Ontario, our hometown. Put your phone in. Ooh. The first ever video we shot right here in Accelerate our studio was the Atlas. And here we are, almost 4 years later, bringing this, the 2024 Atlas. Now, thanks to Delmar Motors for loaning us this car, because the last time we actually saw it was at the Chicago Auto Show back in February. And there's some huge updates, namely all these lights on the outside and cool lights on the inside. So if you don't know what an Atlas is, it is a pretty big SUV. It's 3 rows, it fits lots of humans. It's built in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and we're gonna bring it to your eyeballs right now. So let's talk about the elephant in the room and get it out the way as fast as possible. They only make one engine now in this 2024 Atlas, and that is a 4-banger. It doesn't make more horsepower than the V6, I get it, but it makes a whack ton more horsepower than the old 4-cylinder. That old 4-cylinder made 235 horsepower. The V6 made 276 horsepower. This guy, 269 horsepower. That's very tiny amount of horsepower less than the old V6, and makes 273 pound-feet of torque. Now that's a lot of horsepower and a lot of torque out of a 4-banger, and Volkswagen says that it is way better on fuel economy than the V6, and it's paired to an 8-speed transmission. Take a look at the front. How cool is all this lighting? Let's start off with the logo. You've got the Volkswagen logo all illuminated up. Right above it, you have this light bar that goes all the way to the side of the vehicle, pulling your eyes as far wide as possible to give it that aggressive look on the front of this Atlas. It's designed around these 4 bars, 1, 2, 3, 4 bar grille. It is polished on the front. I like how you have these individual, I'll call them road lines. And then moving down, you have this wrench style design in this front lower bumper. This is obviously durable plastic because it's going to get hit up with rock chips and all the rest of it. There is Parktronics in the front, and if you're wondering where the camera is, well, that is because this is a Highline, and in order to get 360 camera, you have to get the Execuline, and that also includes the R-Line design on the outside. So let's tell you how the trims work. At the base level, you get a Comfort Line for 52.6, then a Peak Edition, which they've added for 56.6, then the Highline, which is this at 59.6, and then you get the Execuline at its top dog level at 62.6. In the US, it's slightly different. They have the SE, the SE with technology, the SEL, and then the top dog, the SEL Premium R-Line with a price of $52,455. Check out this new key from Volkswagen. I love it. Way better than the clicky thing. We've had that for so long. Nonetheless, this key does something interesting. It's got proximity to it. So when I walk into the vehicle, it automatically unlocks. Now it does have the ability to unlock it by touching any of the 4 doors on the outside as well as the trunk. I walk up to the back, I touch it, it unlocks. The proximity for whatever reason doesn't work. And if I want to lock it as well, I can touch any of the outside handles like this and the vehicle will lock. That is super cool. Now on the outside here, you have 18s, 20s, and 21s as options. These are 20s. If you got the 18s, that is because you've bought the Peak package, and that's the off-roading package. So it looks more sporty in the rugged perspective. Now, on the outside here, you have this little scratchy plastic, and that's as durable as you can get. On the Atlases, this is nothing new. They've kind of kept that same vibe all the way on the outside to make it more rugged. I like the design here, how you have this straight shoulder line that goes from end to end, and then it wraps around here. That's pretty typical, nothing new for the Atlas. Here, I do like they have the same handles. These are car handles and not truck handles. Very easy to open and close. You do have this chrome trim at the top and the bottom that meets right here. And then you have this little piece that says Volkswagen. That is cool. And on this Highline, you can see that you have a big panoramic sunroof. You have this silver roof rail that is legit. It is not plastic. But the best part here is the visibility. Look how much glass I have. I can stand here and I can see the driver right here, and I gotta move ever so gently to see the driver again. There's not a huge C-pillar here. It's a really small C-pillar, and look how thin this trim is. It's very, very thin. They're actually paying attention to what drivers need. not by putting a big C-pillar or wondering about how the outside should be designed to make it more aesthetically pleasing. They're like, forget it, we're gonna put a lot of glass, a thin piece right here. I like that. So at the back of the Atlas, we'll start at the top. You have the third brake light, but take a look at the side here. It does angle out. Now manufacturers are using these like little canards to sort of fill this gap between the rear spoiler and the rear glass to decrease the amount of wind resistance the vehicle feels, because what happens is that the air flows back and doesn't help the drag coefficient. By adding these little pieces on the side, it actually helps fuel mileage, believe it or not. Moving down from there, of course, this glass is tinted. You have your rear wiper, but the big change here is right here. There's just a lot of light bars, just like the front. It's amazing that they have an illuminated rear badge as well as the front. In the front, it is white. In the back, it is red. Love that Volkswagen. Again, the light bar goes all the way down, but the side part is the cool part. You have 3 individual LEDs. Come take a look. 1, 2, 3, and then this little gap here, and then goes around the corner. Check this out. I love how it's done. And if you look at it really close, it says IQ Light. Love that piece. And then of course on the bottom, underneath it, you have Atlas right there, all in chrome. I like how this is in chrome. However, if you do get the other model, hint, hint, you get it in black. Moving down from there, of course, there is a camera underneath that is standard on this model. Then you have a tow hitch, and you can tow 5,000 pounds. And of course, you have all your beeping sensors. That's pretty typical in this day and age. And then you have chrome exhausts that really widen the vehicle out.
Those aren't exhaust, bro.
Oh. Now in total, you can get 8 different exterior colors on the Atlas and 3 different interior colors. Now, of course, you have to change the package that you're buying, but it is cool that you have 8 choices, including this white you see here, red, platinum gray, a black pearl, a pure gray, a silver metallic, an oryx white pearl, an avocado green pearl. And if you're worrying about interiors, well, of course, you get the black leathers, the French roast, and at the end of it all, you get a Shetland beige on the inside. Front seat of the Volkswagen Atlas. Nice and solid, just the way I like it. Door panel time. Very clean, very tight. All the fit and finishes are tight, really good quality. Now you have the door trim. Underneath it, you have this little light, and the ambient light goes all around the vehicle. You have 30 choices of color. Now, as far as adjustments for your windows or mirrors folding in, that's only available on the trim that's above this one. All 4 windows, they do fold down auto up and auto down. You do have a lot of space in this door panel. You do have, again, where the handle is here, I can fit my cell phone enough to put it there where I can lift it easily. In the back, you have a little bit more, I would say more space as far as this little section goes. So you can put the whole phone in. In this one, it's just partially in, but it's enough there where it's not gonna fall out. You do have a ton of space for all types of bottles. Now, as far as memory seat, and that tricked me last time when I got in the Atlas, I was like, where's the memory seat? I'm always used to looking at the door panel for a memory seat, especially up here, but now it's actually on the seat itself. It's not now, it's just that I noticed it now. You have 1, 2, and 3 positions of memory seat. You do have lumbar. As far as infotainment, you have a 12-inch infotainment and a 10.25 screen for the driver. Now, this wood trim continues all the way around, but it's a little bit different. It's sort of like set back. It's not like right in my face. Actually, it's behind this display as well, all the way through. And what's unique is this venting. These vents are like dual vents, so I can make one part go right and one part go left. Kind of unique. So if you don't want all the wind in your face, you can kind of half seize up the wind because you can actually shut off one part and keep one part going. Kind of cool. Steering wheel, very, very sporty. This does have heated steering wheel, very easy buttons to use. You have your right and left displays on your driver's display here. Of course, your volume control and your skip tracks. Really small steering wheel. It is flat bottom. I like that on an SUV. I hate the fact they have these big steering wheels sometimes. Nice and sporty, and they are paddle shifters. Thumbs up, Volkswagen. Of course, the steering wheel is tilt and telescopic, pretty straightforward. This does not have heads-up display, however, you do get it on the model above. This 12-inch screen, very easy to use, very, very in your face. Reminds me kind of Kia, to be honest. Very big, big buttons, and I like that. Just ease of use. Pretend you're actually using this for somebody in grade 5. That's how I like to look at vehicles. They should be simple and easy to use, especially like a people mover such as this. Now moving down from this 12-inch screen, you'll notice there's no hard buttons. It's all done by your finger. It's called haptic. You slide backwards and forwards, and that's what happens here. Your volume of your radio, your 3-zone climate control. There's of course 2 zones up here, your left and right. It's all done with your finger. Then you have an assist button here, which gives you all your safety systems, climate control, mode, and then of course your P menu, as well as your 4-ways, all done by a finger here. You just touch it. Oh, that's interesting. Look how it's hidden. I didn't even notice that. Your 4-ways are actually a button. Cool. Moving down from there, you do have a little slider back where you have to put your phone in. Ooh. You slide it back, you put your phone in here. It has a wireless charger. You have 2 USB-Cs. They are high-speed USB-Cs according to Volkswagen's technical data. You have 2 cup holders, an engine start and stop that has this aluminum finish so you can easily spot it. And then these little tiny shift knob. How cute is this? Reverse, neutral, drive, and sport. Very, very Porsche. Down from there, you have your electromechanical parking brake. You lift up. Boom, you hear it, it is locked. Then some more storage down here for possibly some cell phones. Let's see if this phone fits here. Yes, it does perfectly. This is the Max Pro. It fits perfectly right there if it is not in that spot. Now the center armrest is really wide, so me as a driver as well as a passenger can both use it without knocking elbows. When I lift it up though, this is how much room it has. It has the depth of an iPhone, which is actually pretty decent considering other vehicles we just reviewed, like the Cayenne, actually has no space whatsoever. I know different class, but no space whatsoever. It does have 1 USB-C, so you can put stuff in it and all is good. There's also a huge amount of space underneath here, a ton of room, and there's a little picture of a key, and that means that if the battery on your key is dead and you want to start the vehicle, you put your key right in that position, you can press the brake and the vehicle will start. So lots of room underneath there. That's where all the storage is hiding. Now before we jump into the screen, I want to show you one little Easter egg that's hiding that takes a little bit of an eye to notice. Right here, this dash actually has a backlit Atlas in it. Lots of little dots and Atlas. Really, really cool feature. At night, it looks magical. So take a look at this 12-inch screen. Remember how I said that all the buttons are nice and big and easy to read? Well, voila, here you have it. You have this button here that takes you right back to home, and that reminds me of an iPhone. You have your heated and ventilated seats right there, your telephone, radio, app connect, nav, vehicle sound, help, and settings. Pretty straightforward stuff. And then of course something called Setup CarNet, and that allows you to remotely access your Atlas. Slide over, then you have quick, easy widgets, and slide over again, you have your tires, settings, sound, and help. Pretty straightforward stuff. When I slide this down, these are buttons that I can set up. So in this specific case, the thing I want to look at is lighting, to look at the ambient lighting. Voila, there you have it. Those are all your different colors. When I slide this back down again, I press reverse. You have exterior and interior, so I can adjust my exterior lights, your tires, your headlights, and mirrors, because this does have tire pressure monitoring. So let's talk about getting into the third row. It's done very easily. Now the Atlas was launched in 2019 as a 2020 model, so they've improved a few things. So take a look at this. Super easy. Pull up the handle, it folds right here. Let's try that again, like that. Pull this up, and voila, it kind of gets out of the way so I can enter. You have this little sticker here saying, don't put your feet on the seat rail. There's lots of space here for my foot to actually get some traction here. In order to put this third row up, I have to lift this here and pull it up, and you can see how the whole seat moves forward with it. It's just not simply the seat back. So let me jump inside and show you how much room I have. This is a 50-50 split, so let's put this headrest all the way up, and there's a lot of space. Look at my headroom. Somebody 6'2" could easily fit. I'm 5'9", and I got a ton of room in terms of headspace. I do have 2 USB-Cs. I have 2 cup holders here, a bit of storage, and a lot of sunlight and a lot of visibility out here, and that's a really big important piece for me. You do have some venting here. The only complaint I have back here is the sunroof, or the panoramic sunroof. It's really small. It doesn't even go from end to end. It's just like basically in the middle of the vehicle here. It doesn't even go far back enough for me as a third row, so that's probably why these windows are so big. That's the only real reason I can find out, at least. Now move this back here. Some room we have. Lift this up. Voila. This is a ton of room. So look how much room I have. This is how much room I got. Pretty straightforward. And I will jump in the middle row now to show you how much room I have when I'm sitting like this in the second row, but I can definitely bring this all the way back. There's a lot of room back here. I like it. That's it. I got out of the third row, and here I am in the second row. Let me show you something that I wish they would change. When I slide my hand here to actually push this forward, I push and it locks. The only way to release this lock is by pulling this handle up, and then I can put it down. It's just one extra step because to open it very easily. Open, it slides forward. To close, can't do it. I have to pull this up. Maybe they'll change that in the future. So let's jump inside and take a look at this French roast interior. We'll start off with the door panel here. Super solid in Volkswagen. Of course, you have tinted glass. You do have these little sunshades. The fit and finish on all Volkswagens are excellent, and that's why people buy them. The door panel is definitely an example of that. There's no gaps between any of these trim pieces, including the French roast that is perforated with white stitching, and then more ebony leather or fake leather with white stitching. Everything's very solid. You do have a drink compartment here and lots of storage for some chips. And then of course you have more storage here, and they have this unique piece all the way back here for more storage, except there's not a big lip to it, so I don't know what we could exactly put back there, but it is what it is. Behind these seats you do have some storage for a laptop or so. You do have climate control in the back here, of course 2 big vents, USB-C, and then a full-out plug that you can plug 115 volts in it. But the seats are key, because look at the design of these seats. Not only are they perforated, you also have this flare out on this seat and this seat, sort of for taller people. It's like leg extensions built into this seat. Now, pulling this down, you do have 2 cup holders, and look how it's designed. It is designed this way so that my elbow can go right here, and I feel comfortable back here. Now, these seats do recline. I do have a handle here. I can go backwards and forwards, up and down, and voila, and push this back with all my might, and that is how reclined you can get it. Back here, the panoramic sunroof is good. I don't really have any complaints about it. And of course, I have huge visibility on my left. And then if you want map lights, they're up here. They are LEDs. You have 2 of them. And lots of good visibility back here in the back of the Volkswagen Atlas. So let's see how much room we have in the back of this Atlas. But I want to talk about this tailgate in specific. You see that singular button? There's no extra button to actually lock the vehicle when you walk away from it. You actually have proximity in your key. Smart thinking. Now, how much room do we have in this 3rd row with the 3rd row up, or the 3rd seats up, I guess? You have 2 feet. And as far as behind the 2nd row, you have 52 inches. Now, keep in mind, when you buy the Execuline or the Highline, you can opt for the captain's chairs, and that will obviously adjust some things in the 2nd row. How about underneath here? Well, if I lift this up, you don't have a spare tire. You have that on the Cross Sport. Here you do have a tonneau cover you can pull back. It's storage for it, and you can place it in here, and you can obviously slide things back. Pretty straightforward stuff. You do get a jack and a toolkit and some netting. Not a ton of storage here. You have a little bit on the left, a little bit on the right, but your real storage comes into play when the seats are up and you have this cavity here. So drive time. So they don't have an engine that's more powerful. This is the only engine you can get. They don't have a hybrid, and they don't have anything that makes more jam like the CX-90 and the Grand Highlander. However, this engine that's in here is completely detuned, and it's the exact same engine that's in a Golf R. And you can easily get it to about 400 horsepower and 400 pound-feet of torque just by tuning it. Now, obviously no one's gonna buy this and tune it, but the flexibility is there. So my thoughts about this engine, especially for those that say, well, it's not gonna last as long, it's a small engine pushing a big vehicle. However, it is majorly detuned. So that at least will, like, you know, give a few punches to the naysayers about longevity, potentially. You know what I do like about the Atlas? The fact that when you buy the sport version, so the Cross Sport, it actually ditches the 3rd row. So if you like the same bulk of it, but want a little cooler design, you can opt for the Cross Sport. You know, if you don't have kids, it's just you and your girl, or you and your man, whatever the deal is, you can buy the exact same look with a little bit of a coupe angle on the back and have the same bulk and have that same road height or ride height and road feeling. Now, as far as steering goes, it is light. It's very easy to turn. Obviously, there is body roll. It's a pretty big vehicle, but great visibility. That's what I have to point out. The visibility right there is perfect. Lots of glass. I do sit high. It has a very high shoulder or belt line. Like, look where this panel is. It's very high. It gives it that like stance from the outside. It's a lot of steel, so if you do get hit from the side, well, the glass is pretty high that it's not going to hit you in the face. So that part I do like. The other thing I do like is the fit and finish in here. Really good quality. I can talk about that in the studio itself. There's just, this screen is so small. And when I have the steering wheel nice and low, I can't see it. I got to raise it up like this and bring it down. That's probably what I would change. I'd make the screen a little bit bigger, Volkswagen. What's an extra 2 inches? What's an extra 2 inches? Doesn't cost that much money. Now this vehicle's past its break-in period, so I'm just gonna put my foot to the ground and see how this does and see how it sounds. We're not gauging times here, but I have left those people that I was at the light with in the dust. I wouldn't say it's super fast. I would say it's good enough for what it needs to be to get from A to B. Now, if you fill this thing with humans and you're towing a nice boat, obviously it's going to be slower. Then you probably want something with a little bit more power. However, it depends on what you're using the vehicle for 95% of the time. Those people that want to tow heavy already walk in the dealer and they'll know if they want to tow something heavy and what that vehicle does. They're not going to buy the car and then decide they want to do it. It does have the capability to do so if you need to do it or use it for that purpose. So there we go. That's my review on the 2024 Volkswagen Atlas. Yeah, how do you guys like it? Let me know in the comments below and we'll catch you on the next one.